In the tumultuous world of paternity court, Judge Lauren faces a series of challenging cases that are rife with doubt, denial, and complex emotions. Let's delve into a few episodes where Judge Lauren confronts these dynamics head-on. Mrs. Wallace found herself in court, caught up in a situation where the paternity of her husband's mistress's children needed to be determined. She claimed that her estranged husband was the father of one of these children, and the court turned to DNA testing to settle the matter. Mrs. Wallace hoped the test would prove that her husband was not the father. Meanwhile, Mr. Wallace took a bold stance, placing the blame for his actions squarely on his wife. He admitted to cheating on her, asserting that she wasn't a good wife due to her neglect of household duties and lack of attention to him. He defended his actions with his own reasons. The court proceedings were anything but ordinary. The judge was faced with a challenging situation as various women were entangled, causing quite a headache. Mr. Wallace's audacity and rude comments towards the judge further escalated the tension in the courtroom. In fact, his behavior became so disruptive that the judge had no choice but to kick him out of the courtroom. This dramatic turn of events didn't end there. Mr. Wallace, realizing the gravity of the charges against him for contempt of court, hurriedly returned to the courtroom and apologized to the judge. Despite the apology, the situation was already chaotic and emotional. Amidst the commotion, a woman named Miss Roberts stood out. She expressed her disappointment as the DNA test results revealed that Mr. Wallace was indeed the father of her child. Visibly upset, Miss Roberts left the courtroom, clearly disheartened by the outcome. Reflecting on his actions, Mr. Wallace acknowledged that he lacked proper guidance in his life, particularly when it came to treating women and being a responsible man. He emphasized that his main concern was his children, expressing his desire to be a better father. As the courtroom drama concluded, the paternity results were revealed. Mr. Wallace was confirmed as the father. The emotions and complexities of the situation left an indelible mark on everyone involved, highlighting the need for better understanding, communication, and responsibility in relationships. The astonishing drama unfolded when the family of the alleged father rejected a young child based on his skin color. Mr. Hughes found himself in the midst of a heated conflict between his mother and his ex-friend, Ms. McBride, both of whom were engaged in a courtroom dispute. Ms. McBride had initiated legal proceedings seeking a DNA test to establish the paternity of her son, Kakito Hughes, and prove that Mr. Hughes was not the father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old child, Elijah. Ms. Jackson asserted that Ms. McBride had been manipulating her son by convincing him that he was not the biological father of Elijah. She believed that the timing of events would be confirmed by the paternity test results, which were to be revealed that day. From the outset, tensions were high, and even the alleged grandmother got involved, launching criticism towards Ms. Jackson. The courtroom atmosphere was charged as emotions ran wild. Judge Lake addressed the alleged grandmother's behavior, highlighting the hypocrisy of her actions. Ms. McBride was particularly harsh on Ms. Jackson, but Judge Lake managed to maintain order in the courtroom despite the tension. The judge inquired about Ms. McBride's opinion on her son's behavior, revealing a complex family dynamic. The focus then shifted to Mr. Hughes, who consistently denied paternity and reacted emotionally to the situation. His doubts about being the father stemmed from his suspicion of Ms. McBride's motives. Judge Lake remained composed and offered insightful observations, acknowledging the underlying dynamics at play. The judge highlighted that Ms. McBride's frustration was not directed at the child, but rather at Mr. Hughes due to his actions and behavior. The responsibility for the situation, according to the judge, lay primarily with Ms. McBride. The conflict escalated further as the mother-daughter pair continued their heated exchanges. Frustrating the judge, accusations were hurled and family dynamics were brought into focus, with Ms. Jackson's brother getting involved. Despite the chaos and heated discussions, the focus remained on the 2-year-old child Elijah Jackson and the question of paternity. The tension reached its peak as the paternity test results were announced. In a surprising turn, the results confirmed that Mr. Hughes was indeed the father of Elijah Jackson. The reaction of the plaintiffs to the outcome was intense, with their emotions taking center stage. Judge Lake managed to maintain order and deliver the news professionally, despite the tumultuous reactions in the courtroom. Mr. Johnson found himself in court with the intention of disproving a paternity claim made by Miss Ovens. She initially believed that Mr. Johnson was the father of her child, but doubts arose as the child grew older and began to resemble Mr. Tyson, another potential father who had since passed away. Seeking resolution, Ms. Ovens requested DNA testing involving a family member of Mr. Tyson, and his mother was present to learn the results. The ongoing conflicts between the two parties added to the overall tension in the courtroom. The questioning began with Ms. Ovens admitting that she had initially told Mr. Johnson he was the father, only to later change her stance. Her candid admission didn't sit well with Mr. Johnson, who responded with anger and used derogatory language towards Miss Ovens. Things took an even more surprising turn when Mr. Johnson referred to the judge in a disrespectful manner, which angered both the judge and Miss Ovens. Miss Ovens continued to emphasize her belief that Mr. Johnson was the father due to her emotional attachment to him, despite her previous contradictory statements. Throughout the proceedings, Judge Lake's patience was put to the test as both parties engaged in heated exchanges. Miss Ovens' attempts to belittle Mr. Johnson only seemed to backfire, and her inconsistent statements only added to the confusion. The other alleged grandmother entered the courtroom later and presented her perspective in a composed manner. She expressed her desire for the child to continue being part of her family and her wish for a positive resolution. Amidst the emotional turmoil, the court awaited the crucial DNA test results. The tension was palpable as the judge revealed the outcome. The test showed that Mr. Johnson was not the father of Dakari Johnson, the child in question. The test results indicated a 99.99% probability of non-relatedness. This unexpected turn of events marked the conclusion of the messy situation. Despite the intense conflicts and emotional exchanges, the DNA test provided clarity and resolution to a complex paternity claim. This particular case unfolded amidst a cloud of doubt, denial, and complicated circumstances. It commenced with a plaintiff adamantly disavowing any connection to a 21-month-old child named Ryden. The plaintiff, Stanley Lewis, refuted his paternity of the child, alleging accusations against the child's mother, Taya Lester. The tension between the two parties was palpable as they struggled to maintain civility. Stanley Lewis and Taya Lester, parents of Ryden, could hardly find common ground. Their conversations often devolved into heated exchanges marked by name-calling and accusations. Despite the judge's admonishment to use respectful language, the situation remained contentious. The court proceedings witnessed Taya Lester's determination to establish her position. She emphasized that Stanley Lewis had ignored a court order and cast aspersions on her character. Taya Lester's claim took an intricate turn when a potential alternate father, Kevin Brentiana, entered the scene. Kevin suggested the court with his own suspicions, enabling him to prove a disconnection with the child. This assertion prompted further debates, with Taya asserting her reasons, and the trial continued. Taya Lester's explanations grew increasingly convoluted. She attempted to justify her interactions with both people as she admitted certain facts. The courtroom atmosphere became strained as Taya attempted to navigate her own history and relationships. Stanley's mother also made an appearance, underlying the gravity of the situation for their family. Emotions were high as the complexities of the case unraveled, showcasing the intricate web of relationships and emotions involved. As the climax of the case approached, the truth was revealed through DNA testing. In a surprising twist, the test results showed that Stanley Lewis was not the biological father of Ryden. The reveal didn't mark the end of the revelations. Taya Lester admitted to knowing the true biological father, a man named Desait Chirana. The moment served as an opportunity for her to be honest about the situation, bringing a sense of resolution, albeit belatedly. The case involving 21-month-old Ryden highlighted the complexities of relationships, emotions, and paternity. The courtroom drama showcased the tangled web of interactions and decisions that led to the ultimate revelation of Ryden's biological father. Do share your views in the comment section below and subscribe to our channel for more such videos.